Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Voice of English. I am Lisa, your host for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. Let me ask you something. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do I always translate from my language into English before I speak? If yes, you are not alone. Millions of learners around the world face the same problem. They know English words. They understand grammar. They can read and write. But when it comes to speaking, their brain suddenly stops. Why? Because their brain is thinking in their own language first, and only then trying to turn those thoughts into English. This is slow. This is stressful. This is why conversations feel difficult. Now imagine this. What if your brain could directly think in English? What if you didn't need to translate? What if the words came to you naturally, like water flowing in a river? That's what we are going to learn together in this journey. In this video, I will show you step by step, through stories, examples, and challenges, how you can train your brain to think in English. Remember, you do not need to be a genius. You do not need to live in an English-speaking country. You do not need a $1,000 course. What you need is practice, patience, and the right techniques. So, let's begin. Part 1. Why it's hard to think in English. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You are in a shop. A foreigner comes to you and asks in English, "Excuse me, do you know where the bus station is?" Now, what happens inside your brain? Most learners tell me this story. First, they hear the English words. Then they quickly translate them into their own language. Next, they think of an answer in their language. Finally, they translate their answer back into English and try to say it. That's 4 heavy steps. Step 1, listen. Step 2, translate. Step 3, think. Step 4, translate again. No wonder it feels slow and stressful. Your brain is working like a busy office with too many workers sending papers back and forth. I once had a student named Maria. She was from Brazil. She told me, "Sam, when I speak English, I feel like a machine. My brain keeps saying, wait, translate. And by the time I find the right words, the conversation is already gone." Maybe you feel like Maria sometimes. And that is completely normal. Why? Because from childhood, your brain has learned to think in your native language. Your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, even your dreams. They all speak in your language first. English feels like a visitor, not a permanent resident. But here is the secret. Your brain is flexible. It can create new pathways. It can make English not just a visitor, but a second home. Think about this. Babies do not translate. They listen, copy, repeat, and slowly their brain starts thinking in their language. You can do the same with English. You are not a baby, but your brain still has the power to change. I remember another student, Ali from Pakistan. At the beginning, he always translated in his head. But after 6 months of daily training, something amazing happened. One day he told me, "Sam, I was walking in the market and suddenly my brain said, I need to buy some bread. And guess what? The thought came to me in English, not in Urdu. I didn't even try. It just happened." That's the magic we are aiming for. So why is it hard to think in English? Because your brain is used to your native language. Because you learned English mainly through books and rules, not through natural thinking. Because you fear making mistakes. So your brain slows down. But the good news is this: every difficulty has a solution. And in the next chapters, we will go step by step into the solutions. For now, I want you to remember one simple idea. You don't need to translate. You need to train. Whenever you catch yourself translating, just smile and say, "Okay, my brain is still learning. But one day, my brain will think in English naturally." This positive mindset is your first step. Part 2. Training your brain. Step by step. I sit with my notebook and I write a simple sentence. It says, "I am drinking tea." I look at the words and I try to imagine myself drinking tea. I don't translate this sentence into my own language. I just see it in my mind. A picture, not a translation. This is the first step. To train your brain to think in English, you must connect English with pictures, actions, and feelings, not with translation. I remember one of my students, Amina. She always translated every single word. When she wanted to say, "I am going to school," she first thought in her language, then translated word by word into English. This made her slow. She told me, "Sam, I can't speak fast. I always stop and think." I smiled and said, "Amina, your brain is like a little child. It needs training. And training happens step by step." So, how do we train the brain? Let me give you a simple exercise. Step 1. Choose 5 very easy sentences. For example, I am eating rice. I am reading a book. I am opening the door. I am walking to the park. I am smiling. Now, instead of just reading them, do the action or imagine the action. When you eat, say, "I am eating." When you open the door, whisper, "I am opening the door." When you smile, think, "I am smiling." You see? You are training your brain to connect English with action, not with translation. At first, it feels strange, but slowly it becomes natural. Just like learning to ride a bicycle. In the beginning, you fall. Then, with practice, you move smoothly. Another student, Rahul, practiced this every morning. He told me, "Sam, when I brush my teeth, I say in English, 'I am brushing my teeth.' When I wear my shoes, I say, 'I am wearing my shoes.'" He laughed and added, "Even when I eat chocolate, I say, 'I am eating chocolate.' My friends think I am crazy." But after 1 month, something amazing happened. Rahul started speaking English faster. He didn't wait for translation. His brain was now trained step by step. Here is the secret. Don't push your brain with difficult grammar at first. Start with easy present sentences. Why? Because the present is what you live in every day. The present is your life right now. Let me give you a little challenge. For 1 whole day, describe everything you do in English, but use only very simple sentences. For example, I wake up, I wash my face, I eat breakfast, I go to work, I write a message. Even if you make mistakes, it is okay. The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is to teach your brain to use English without waiting. I know what you may be thinking. Sam, isn't this too simple? I want to use difficult English. But believe me, simplicity is power. If you can think simple English easily, then later, your brain will accept difficult English too. But if you only chase difficult words, your brain will get tired and you will stop. Think about babies. Do babies start with big words? No, they start with mama, dada, milk. Simple. Only later they learn longer words. Your brain learns English in the same way, step by step. Here's a quick exercise for you right now. Look around your room. Choose 3 things you see. Maybe a pen, a phone, a chair. Now, say in English, this is a pen. This is my phone. This is a chair. Very simple. Now close your eyes. Imagine them. Say the sentences again in your head. Congratulations. You just trained your brain to think in English. Not with translation, not with pressure, but with small steps. I always tell my students, do not wait for big progress. Celebrate small progress, because small steps take you to big results. So remember this, your brain is like a garden. If you water it every day with small English sentences, it will grow into a big, beautiful tree. But if you only wait for one big rain, nothing will grow. Part 3. How to stop translation completely. Have you ever noticed how your brain always wants to go back to your first language? It's like an old habit that doesn't want to die. You see a word in English, and your brain quickly runs to your native language, finds the meaning, and then comes back. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. But it also feels slow. And slow thinking means slow speaking. If we want to think in English, we must break this cycle. We must stop translation completely. I remember one of my students, Maria. She spoke Spanish. Every time I asked her a question in English, she would pause, think in Spanish, translate the words, and then answer. It took her 10 seconds to say one sentence. She was frustrated. She asked me, Sam, how do I stop translating in my head? I told her, Maria, your brain is like a house with 2 doors. One door is Spanish. One door is English. Right now, you are walking in the Spanish door, then trying to move through the kitchen, the living room, the hallway, and finally out the English door. Too long. You need to lock the Spanish door and only use the English door. But how do we lock the door? Let me share the steps with you. First, use pictures, not words. When you see an apple, don't say apple bar sieb or apple nar manzana. No. Just look at the apple and connect it directly to the English word apple. That way, your brain builds a new road. Picture English. Not picture, native language, English. This is the first trick to stop translation. Second, use short English sentences for your thoughts. When you wake up, say, I am awake. When you eat, say, I am eating. When you go outside, say, it is sunny. These small, simple sentences train your brain. They make English the first choice, not the second. Translation slowly disappears. Third, practice with no time to translate. I often give my students a speed challenge. I ask them a very easy question, like, what is your favorite color? And they must answer in 2 seconds. If they take longer, I stop them. At first, they get nervous. They want to translate. But after practice, they realize that quick thinking kills translation. The brain doesn't have time to run away. Now, let me ask you, what happens when you try to translate a joke? Have you noticed that jokes often stop being funny after translation? That's because humor lives inside the language. Emotions live inside the language. If you keep translating, you never feel the soul of English. But if you stop translating, you begin to feel English, not just understand it. Here is a small challenge for you today. Take 5 simple sentences and say them to yourself in English every hour. Do not allow your native language to enter. For example, I am learning. I am strong. I am thinking in English. I love this moment. I can do it. These are not just sentences. They are brain exercises. Every time you repeat them, you are teaching your brain to choose English first. Maria, my student, tried this. For 2 weeks, she only used English for simple daily thoughts. One day she came to me and said, "Sam, today I was cooking, and suddenly I thought, I need more salt." In English, I didn't even notice. It just happened. That is the magic moment. When English becomes automatic, you are no longer translating. Let me remind you, translation is not your enemy. It helped you in the beginning. It was like training wheels on a bicycle. But now, if you want to ride fast and free, you must take the wheels off. You must trust yourself. You must think directly in English. So, the next time your brain tries to run back to your first language, stop it. Smile. Tell yourself, no translation, only English. And step by step, your brain will listen. Part 4. Build vocabulary for thinking in English. When I talk about thinking in English, one question always comes. Sam, how can I think in English if I don't have enough words in my mind? This is a very good question, and the answer is simple. You must build your vocabulary step by step, but not in a boring way. You don't need to learn 100 new words every day. You only need the words that you use in daily life. Let me give you an example. One of my students, Maria, wanted to improve her English thinking. She was a nurse in Spain. Every day she spoke Spanish with her patients, but when she tried to think in English, she had no words for the things she saw daily: medicine, pain, blood pressure, thermometer. She said, "Sam, I know many English words from textbooks like elephant, astronaut, volcano, but I don't know the words I need for my real life." That was her problem. And maybe it's also your problem. So what is the solution? Build your personal vocabulary bank. This is not a big, heavy dictionary. It's your own list of words that are important for your life. Here is how you can do it. R. Look at your daily routine. Write down what you do in one day. For example, wake up, brush teeth, make coffee, go to school, take the bus, work on the computer, talk with a friend, eat dinner, go to sleep. Write each action in English. If you don't know the word, check it in a dictionary or ask someone. Practice saying these words in your mind while you are doing the action. For example, when you brush your teeth, don't say in your native language, "I am brushing my teeth." Say it in English, "I am brushing my teeth." When you drink water, say in your mind, I am drinking water. This is not just vocabulary, it is thinking practice. Now let's make it stronger. You should not only learn single words, but also small groups of words. We call them chunks. Why? Because real thinking does not happen with single words. It happens with phrases. For example, instead of learning only, bus, learn take the bus. Instead of coffee, learn make coffee or have a cup of coffee. Instead of school, learn go to school or finish school. Chunks are powerful because they live in your brain as ready-made pieces. When you want to think in English, you don't need to translate word by word. You just use the chunk. I always tell my students, if you learn 10 new chunks every week, in 1 year, you will have 500 powerful pieces of English in your mind. Imagine how much easier your thinking will be. Let's practice right now. I want you to repeat after me in your mind. I wake up early. I make my bed. I brush my teeth. I go to work. I eat lunch with my friend. I go home by bus. I sleep at night. These are simple sentences, but they are golden. They are the foundation of your English thinking. Another trick is visual vocabulary. This means you connect words with pictures in your mind, not translations. For example, if I say the word apple, don't think of the translation in your native language. Picture a red apple in your mind. Imagine holding it, smelling it, biting it. This way, your brain connects the English word directly with the object, not with your first language. This is very important because it stops translation naturally. When you see a chair, you don't think, oh, in my language, this is Scylla. So in English, it's chair. No. You just see the chair and the word chair comes instantly. That is true thinking in English. Let me share another student's story. Ahmed from Egypt used to memorize long lists of vocabulary, but he always forgot them. He told me, Sam, I learned 50 words, and after 1 week I remember only 5. I asked him, Ahmed, do you use these words in your daily life? He said no. That was the problem. When he started building vocabulary from his daily routine, he remembered everything. Now he says, I don't just learn words, I live with them. So the secret is not to know many difficult words. The secret is to know the right words for your life and use them every day. Today, I want to give you a small challenge. Write down 10 words or phrases you use in your daily routine. Practice them in your mind all day. Repeat them when you do the action. If you keep doing this, your vocabulary will grow like a tree, strong and natural. Remember, vocabulary is not only knowledge, it is the fuel for your English thinking. The more useful words you have, the faster your mind can think in English. Part 5. Practice thinking in real-life situations. Let me share something important with you. Thinking in English does not happen only when you sit at a desk with a book. It happens when you live your life. When you connect English with your daily actions, your brain learns much faster. I always tell my students, do not wait for a perfect moment to practice English. Use the moment you already have. And you know what? These small, ordinary moments are more powerful than long study hours because they are real. They are connected with life. A story to begin. One of my students, Maria, used to complain that she had no time for English. She was a busy nurse. She worked long shifts. She told me, "Sam, I can only study 15 minutes before bed. That's not enough." I asked her, "Maria, what language do you think in when you prepare food, walk to work, or wait in line?" She said, "Of course I think in my native language." Then I told her the secret. Turn these daily situations into English practice. Do not change your schedule. Change your language. She tried it. When she brushed her teeth, she thought in English, "I am brushing my teeth. This water is cold." When she cooked, she said in her mind, "I am cutting vegetables. I need some salt." When she waited for the bus, she described the people around her in English. "That man is reading a newspaper. That woman is talking on the phone." Guess what? After only 1 month, Maria told me, "Sam, something amazing happened. English is slowly becoming my first reaction. I do not translate all the time now." She was practicing not in a classroom, but in life. Why this works. Your brain loves context. When you connect English words with real actions, your brain remembers faster. For example, if you repeat the word apple 100 times in a notebook, maybe you will forget. But if you are holding an apple in your hand and you say in English, "This is an apple. I like apples," you will remember forever. Because your senses are involved. You see it, you touch it, you smell it. This is why practicing in real-life situations is so powerful. It makes English a part of your daily world, not just something from a book. How you can try it. I want you to try this today. Choose one daily activity and describe it in English in your mind. For example, when you are cooking, "I am boiling water. I am cutting onions. The smell is strong." When you are walking, "The sky is blue. The road is busy. That car is very fast." When you are cleaning, "I am washing the floor. This is hard work. I feel tired but happy." Do not worry about grammar mistakes. Do not stop to check a dictionary. Just use the words you already know. The goal is not perfection. The goal is connection. The more you practice, the more words will come naturally. Overcoming the fear. Some students say, "Sam, people will laugh if I talk to myself in English in public." I understand. That's why I suggest you can do it silently in your mind. Nobody will hear. Or if you are alone at home, speak out loud. The important thing is to connect English with action. When you keep doing this every day, your brain begins to believe, "My life happens in English," and once your brain believes that, thinking in English becomes automatic. Small challenge. Right after this lesson, choose one part of your routine, maybe making tea, maybe brushing your hair, maybe sitting in your room, and describe it in English for 2 minutes. Repeat tomorrow. Repeat the next day. Soon, it will not be an exercise. It will become your habit. Thinking in English is not about special time. It is about special focus. If you train your mind to use English in real-life situations, you will grow faster than you imagine. So remember, English is not only in books. English is in your kitchen, in your street, in your hands, in your heart. Part 6. Create an English environment around you. I want to tell you something very important today. Thinking in English is not just about studying grammar or memorizing vocabulary. It is about living in English. Yes, you heard me right. If you surround yourself with English, your brain will slowly accept it as something natural. This is what we call creating an English environment. Let me share a small story. One of my students, Aisha, used to speak only her local language at home. She practiced English for 1 hour every day, but she always felt stuck. She said, "Teacher, I don't think in English. I only translate." I asked her, "How many hours do you live in English each day?" She looked confused. I explained, "If you want your brain to think in English, English should not be only 1 hour of your day. It should be everywhere around you." This is the key. Make English a part of your daily life. Think about your phone. What language is it in right now? Many students keep their phone in their own language. But here is a small secret. If you change your phone language to English, you will see English words again and again. Every time you unlock your phone, every time you check a message, you will be reading in English. These small things add up. Your brain will accept English as the normal language of your daily life. Another powerful way is music and podcasts. Instead of listening to songs or shows in your language, start filling your ears with English. Play English music while cooking. Listen to an English podcast while walking. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is working in the background. It is catching rhythm, tone, and words. This is how babies learn. They hear again and again before they start speaking. Now, let's talk about your room. Look around. What do you see? A table, a chair, maybe a lamp. Do they speak English to you? No. But what if you put small sticky notes on them with English words? Write table on your table, mirror on your mirror, door on your door. Each time you look at them, your brain connects the object directly with the English word. Slowly, translation disappears. I remember another student, Daniel. He was very serious about this technique. He covered his whole room with sticky notes. At first, his family laughed, but after 3 months, he started speaking English much faster. He told me, "Teacher, my room itself became my English teacher." Isn't that amazing? You can also surround yourself with English people, even if they are not physically near you. Today, the internet gives us this power. Join English-speaking groups on Facebook, WhatsApp, or Telegram. Follow English-speaking YouTubers or TikTokers. Comment in English. Ask questions. Even reading what others write is powerful. It creates a world around you where English feels normal. But maybe you're thinking, "Teacher, I don't have time for this." My answer is simple. You don't need extra time. You only need to replace. Replace 5 minutes of scrolling in your language with 5 minutes of English. Replace one local song with one English podcast. Replace one sticky note of memory with one sticky note in English. This is how you build an environment. Small changes that together create a big world of English around you. Now, let's repeat. Change your phone to English. Listen to English songs and podcasts. Put sticky notes in your room. Join English groups online. Replace. Don't add, just change habits step by step. Do you see how easy this is? You don't need to move to England or America. You can create an English environment right in your home. And once you do, your brain will stop seeing English as something foreign. It will feel like a natural part of your life. So I ask you now, what will you change today? Will you start with your phone? Will you put one sticky note on your door? Remember, the environment you create is the teacher you live with every day. Part 7. Using inner voice for thinking in English. I want you to pause for a moment and listen, not to me, not to the sounds around you, but to the voice inside your head. Yes, that little voice that is always speaking, always commenting, always asking questions. We call it the inner voice. You already use it in your own language. You use it when you think about what to eat, when you prepare a plan, or when you imagine a conversation with someone. Now, here's the secret. That inner voice can also speak in English. And once it does, your thinking in English will grow naturally. When I first started learning a new language, my inner voice was very stubborn. It only wanted to speak in my native tongue. I tried to force it, but it would always pull me back. So I learned a trick. I didn't try to translate everything. Instead, I started with small, simple sentences in my inner voice. For example, I would wake up and say silently in my head, I am brushing my teeth. Or, I am walking to the bus stop. At first, it felt funny. It felt like I was playing a game. But day by day, my inner voice began to accept this new habit. Slowly, I noticed that without thinking, my inner voice would say, it's cold today, or I am hungry, in English. That was the breakthrough. You see, the inner voice is like your best friend. It's always with you. You can't escape it. But you can train it. Think about your day. How many times do you talk to yourself silently? When you forget something, you say inside, oh no, I left my keys. When you succeed, you say, well done. That's your inner voice. And all of these small moments are golden opportunities to practice English thinking. Let me give you an example. One of my students, Anna, always wanted to improve her fluency, but she had no English partner at home. She asked me, Sam, how can I practice alone? I told her, Anna, your best partner is your inner voice. She began practicing by thinking in English during her morning routine. She looked at her clothes and thought, this shirt is blue. I like it. She opened the fridge and thought, I will eat an egg. Eggs are healthy. After just 1 month, Anna told me she felt different. She didn't translate anymore. She just thought in English. That is the power of your inner voice. Now, you may be asking, Sam, what if I don't know the English word? Good question. The answer is simple. Don't stop. Don't panic. Use another word you already know. For example, if you don't remember the word umbrella, you can think, a thing for rain. This keeps your inner voice alive in English. Later, when you learn the missing word, you can replace it. Another powerful method is to imagine conversations in your head. Suppose you are preparing for a meeting. Imagine what the boss will ask and what you will answer. Suppose you are going shopping. Imagine what the shopkeeper will say. These silent role plays are amazing practice because your inner voice becomes active in real-life contexts. At the same time, don't worry about mistakes. Nobody can hear your inner voice except you, so you are free to make mistakes. You are free to experiment. You are free to play with words. This freedom makes your practice stronger than any classroom exercise. But let me warn you, at the beginning, your old language will try to interrupt. You will notice your inner voice jumping back and forth. This is normal. Just be patient. Each time it happens, gently bring it back to English. Day by day, the English side will grow stronger. Think of it like this. Your inner voice is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And one day, without effort, your inner voice will simply live in English. So, my friend, from today, make this promise. I will use my inner voice in English every day for every small thought. If you do this, you will discover something magical. You will not just speak English. You will think English. Part 8. Overcoming challenges and staying consistent. I want to share a secret with you today. Every English learner, even the most successful ones, faces problems. Nobody has a smooth road. The road to thinking in English is full of small stones, sometimes even big walls. But here is the truth. If you learn how to overcome these challenges, you will never stop. You will always move forward. Let me begin with a story. A few years ago, I taught a student named Ahmed. He was very motivated in the first month. He practiced English every day. He even started to dream in English. But one day he said to me, "Sam, I feel tired. I feel like I am not improving anymore. Maybe this is not for me." Do you know what I told him? I said, "Ahmed, the problem is not your English. The problem is your consistency. This is the first challenge, losing motivation too soon. Many students start with fire, but after 2 weeks, that fire turns into smoke. Why? Because they expect results too quickly. They think, in 1 month, I will think in English like a native speaker. But when that does not happen, they give up. I want you to remember this. English is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Slow, steady steps win the race. The second challenge is fear of mistakes. Some learners think, if I speak or think in English and make a mistake, people will laugh. But let me ask you, when a small child learns to walk, does the family laugh when the child falls? No, they smile, they encourage. Mistakes are proof that you are moving forward. If you make 0 mistakes, it means you are not learning at all. So from today, change your thinking. Mistakes are not failures. They are teachers. Another challenge is lack of time. Many students tell me, "Sam, I don't have time to practice English. My life is busy." I always ask them, do you have time to check your phone? Do you have time to scroll social media? Do you have time to listen to music or watch a video? If yes, then you have time for English. You do not need hours every day. You only need moments. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Consistency is not about big time, it is about regular time. Now let's talk about how to stay consistent. One method is to create a routine. For example, every morning before breakfast, say 5 English sentences to yourself. Every evening before sleep, think about your day in English. When you add English to your daily life, it becomes a habit. Habits are stronger than motivation. Motivation is like the weather. It changes. But habits are like the ground. They stay. Another method is to track your progress. Keep a small notebook. Every day, write 1 English thought or sentence. After 1 month, look back. You will see how far you have come. When you see progress with your own eyes, your brain says, "Yes, I can do this." Let's continue. I also tell my students, find small victories. Did you think in English for 2 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you stop translating 1 sentence? Celebrate it. Success in English is not one big jump. It is many small steps. Each step matters. And finally, remember this. You are not alone. Every learner feels tired sometimes. Every learner feels stuck. Even I, as a teacher, sometimes feel challenges when I learn new languages. But here's what I know. If you keep walking, even slowly, you will reach the destination. So the key is simple. Do not stop. Take breaks, yes. Slow down, yes. But never stop. Consistency beats talent. Consistency beats fear. Consistency builds English in your mind, step by step. Now let me ask you a question. Will you face challenges? Yes, but will you overcome them? The answer is also yes, because you are not just learning English. You are building a stronger mind, and when your mind becomes strong, English becomes natural.